So I am not at any point asking for, as some have put it, the firing of 343, because I think, frankly, that's a ridiculous, over-the-top and just scorched earth solution that isn't even a solution.
Alright, so to me, and I guess, I don't know, the fire 343 thing is a spectrum, but to me, it's like the culmination of our frustrations with 343 and a cry out for Microsoft to step in and take some type of action against 343. When, at least when I say, I can't speak for everyone, when I say, you know, like hashtag fire 343 or whatever, I don't mean everyone at 343 in the entire studio should lose their job and the whole studio should be dissolved. I mean, like, they can't be allowed to get away with this any longer, and that there needs to be movement. Like, people at 343 need to be fired. Right? That's what I think. I don't think everyone there needs to be fired, but I think people there need to be fired. But yeah, hashtag fire 343 doesn't necessarily mean the janitors, every single coder, the artists all need to be fired right now. It just means that there are people in that company that have been continuously making horrible decisions for over a decade, and those people need to go. The decision makers, the people that come up with this stuff, you know what I mean? They're the ones that need to get fired, in my opinion.
Any of the problems that Halo faces. Rather, what I am asking for is for Xbox and Microsoft to reevaluate how they manage Halo as an intellectual property. Master Chief is to Xbox as Mario is to Nintendo, and Kratos is to Sony. He is the fictional face of the brand, and thus Halo is the fictional universe of the brand as well. This goes without saying, but Xbox and Halo go hand in hand, and thus they share in each other's successes and failures. I mean, Phil Spencer has even said as much in the past. If we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with Xbox, and I think it's very safe to say at this point that Xbox have lost their way with Halo, but the real question is whether they will actually do anything about it. I don't think the solution here, honestly, lies solely within 343. Don't get me wrong, there are absolutely...
So I assume what he's about to get into is Microsoft, right? Because whenever... We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. It's hard to know what decisions come from 343 and what decisions come from Microsoft. And as a result of that, people will defend 343 by just shifting the blame up the ladder and just saying like, oh, no, this was Microsoft. 343 didn't do that. It was Microsoft. Microsoft did that. Well, like, Microsoft didn't do everything. 343 still made a lot of horrible decisions, and the people that made those decisions still need to be fired, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, Microsoft didn't come out and be like, your game to be shit. No, nobody wants that. They want a good game. Microsoft doesn't want them to deliver a game that has technical issues that make it borderline unplayable for some people, or like they don't want a game with such low population numbers that their brand new game modes have to be rotated out because nobody's playing their brand new game that's supposed to last 10 years. Microsoft doesn't want that. They actually, believe it or not, Microsoft wants the game to succeed. And I think 343 does too. But I think the people at 343 are making the decisions, because I don't think Microsoft is in there micromanaging, like, you need this in the game, you need this in the game, no playable elites in the game, okay, no dual wielding, you can't have that. I don't think Microsoft makes those decisions. I think Microsoft is like, okay guys, you need to make a good Halo game that makes us a lot of money. And maybe they're like, Microsoft might even be the people that are like, you need to implement some kind of battle pass and some kind of microtransaction situation because that's where the money is right now. We're going to do a free-to-play model for Halo, put it on the Game Pass, throw some microtransactions in there, bish, bash, bosh. Like, I think that's the kind of stuff Microsoft does, but I don't think Microsoft is in here being like, oh, make sure you don't put out Infection for 2 years, okay?
Absolutely problems within 343, very clearly, that need fixing. But I think that Xbox and Microsoft need to start treating Halo as precisely what it is. A franchise been made in the last 10 years, one of which took double the development time of any prior Halo game and arguably ended up as the most disappointing. And also, only one of those 4 games was anything other than a mainline first-person shooter game, Halo Wars 2, which was a one-off collaboration made with
What is he getting at here? Is he saying that like to franchise out Halo, they need to like make a bunch of spin-off games and shit? Because I don't think that is how you save Halo. They already have novels, graphic novels, comics, fucking cookbooks. Like Halo has a big diverse thing of stories. Even in Infinite, like they have the Waypoint story thing going on for the Fracture. Like Halo is a diverse franchise. They sell Mega Block sets, toys, books, you name it, man. Like I don't think the solution is just like we need to hire a bunch of other companies to start making other Halo games. I don't know. I think you just need to make a good Halo game. I don't think we need 7 different companies all making weird spin-off Halos. I think we just need a Halo game that's good. And I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Better to capitalize on Halo as a brand, a franchise, and a universe by allowing other developers to work on Halo projects alongside 343. Halo has long been a franchise renowned for the diversity of its content and demographic appeal. Fans of single-player experiences, story and lore, social multiplayer, party games, expanding the horizons of the overall franchise and having different developers simultaneously developing different flavors of the Halo experience in their own staple ways.
I don't know, man. This isn't really hitting home for me because like he kind of started it by saying it's about the Fire 343 thing, and I don't think the solution is instead of making changes to 343 to better Halo, to instead just open the floodgates and just let a bunch of other companies try their own hand at making Halos that maybe those ones will be good. I don't think that's like a solving the root of the problem, that the company that has control over Halo is bad. Also, like, no, like other games don't do this, you know what I mean? Like some of them do, right? If you want to talk about like Star Wars has all sorts of games under the sun, but if you look at other franchises like Battlefield, there's no like fucking Battlefield RTS game. There's no Call of Duty RTS game. You know what I mean? There's not like a fucking what is even another franchise? There's no Titanfall horror game spin-off. Do you see what I'm saying? Like other game franchises don't have to shit out a bunch of different genres and studios to make good games. Some of them just have good companies that can make a good game. Don't get me wrong, by the way. I think it would be cool. I really like Halo, and it would be cool to play like a creepier, like horror-based flood, or like a flood-based horror game. You know what I mean? Or like I do like RTSs, and Halo Wars is cool. Even like a full-on RPG, like an actual Bethesda-style RPG in Halo would be something that could be really cool. Something more story-heavy with good character writing. Like I would love stuff like that, but I don't think that is like the solution to making Halo what it used to be. You know what I mean? I think it's sort of like 2 separate conversations. All right, so I mean, honestly, not a bad video. I know I was ripping on it a little bit throughout there, but I think it's because of the way that he set the video up at the start is where I take issue. His video, or like the whole chunk of it, explaining how having other studios in there making a bigger variety of Halo games could breathe new life into Halo as a franchise and give the game the support it needs, or give the franchise the support it needs. I agree with all of that. But at the start, he sort of led the video off with saying that this is the solution as opposed to making big changes at 343. So he's saying instead of shaking up 343's leadership and installing new people there that make better decisions and make Halo better, that we should instead just let a bunch of other companies have a go at it and see if they can make something better. Which that part I disagree with. I feel like they're 2 separate conversations, and you could very well do both of these things. I think it's totally feasible for them to both allow other studios to work on Halo projects, giving us a bigger variety of Halo games, and also make the changes at 343 that are necessary in order for the main actual Halo FPS games to reach the quality that they used to have. I think that we can do both of those at once.